This is going to be the most detailed breakdown that you're going to find about the Nick Harris situation on the internet right now, and you can put money on that. But before that, I really want to ask everybody something that's been following my content. The other day when I was getting ready to create this video, I stumbled upon another creator called RKH Media that did a very similar video on Nick Harris, so I thought I'd watch it to get a different perspective on the situation. Lo and behold, just to find out, not even 5 seconds into the video, I noticed he downloaded my first 2 videos on Nick Harris and never got any views, cut out my voice entirely, and used my 2 videos throughout his video. At first, I was completely confused because maybe I thought I had some very important information that he couldn't find anywhere else, so he would like reference me as a source of information, but that's absolutely not what he did. I'm not referencing the video, I'm not referenced in the description, I'm not even referenced in the comment section anywhere, and I wouldn't be able to tell that these are my 2 videos if he didn't straight up plaster cut up portions of my video on his video like he was the one that actually created and found the information. So this is what I want to ask you guys. What do you guys think I should do, and how do you guys feel about a bigger creator with over 70,000 subscribers coming onto a smaller creator with less than 1,000 subscribers, I might add, steal his content, don't give me any credit for the hours of hard work that he actually put into the video, and profit massively because of it? Like, I'm not mad about the fact that he actually created a better video because, yes, objectively, his video is better visually. But how can a larger creator, somebody that understands the struggle of starting a new channel, basically rip off and hurt other creators? And I want you guys to understand that I wouldn't be making a big deal out of this if he used like 1 piece of information from one of my videos, or maybe 2 or 3 pieces of information from both of my videos. But my video pops up in his video 20 different times, regurgitating all the same information that I presented and using the same clips that took me days to curate. What really bothers me most about the video is that he claims he found and researched the information. One of my biggest dreams was to interact with the larger creator, have them watch my video and say, that's not a good video, but you're going in the right direction. And I'll be honest with you guys, the whole situation completely soured not only my mood for other larger creators, but to put in days and hours of hard work to try to create a video for you guys as good as I possibly can, just for that video to get absolutely no views. And on top of that, another larger creator comes, steal my information, steal all my hard work, and then profit 10 times more than I did. I cannot explain to you guys how discouraging that is when I know it could possibly happen again. You guys deserve to understand the truth and how I feel about the whole situation and how it affects me. So this is what I'm gonna do. This video is going to be the most detailed, curated, hardest research video that I have ever done, because as much as it is discouraging, I've been doing for YouTube for about a year now, and the people that I've talked to and met through this channel encourage me to actually put in a lot of effort in my videos, because I kind of consider you guys like my friends. I know that's pretty sad to say, but the little community, the tiny community that I've started to grow means so much more to me than worrying about if somebody's actually going to steal my content. The way that I look about this is that if they are genuinely stealing my information, then I must be doing something right. So I want to say this to RKH Media, because I guarantee he's probably going to watch this video because, once again, he thinks he can go on smaller creator channels and steal their content. I'm not mad that you stole my content, but I am going to say you messed up, because when I say I'm never going to let this go, I mean it. Because as much as you think I'm never going to get in a position as you, once I get there, and I promise you, I will get there, I will spend so much effort trying to expose you from stealing for other creators, because if you have the balls to steal from nobody like me, I guarantee you're not only stealing information from larger creators, but you're going on smaller creators and ruining any chances that they actually have of doing something. And that right there is why I won't let this go. You're disgusting. You're an inauthentic creator, and I'm gonna make so much noise to try to make everybody aware to check all your videos, to check all your information, to see if you stole from anybody else. And I promise you, if I find out that you even stole a clip from anybody else without giving them the proper reference, I will make sure everybody knows you're a fraud. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I really want to apologize to everybody, because I cannot tell you how frustrated I've been over these last couple of weeks being unable to do anything about this whole stupid situation. But of course, we are not here to talk about stupid content thieves. We are here to talk about the one, the only, Nick Harris, and all the things he's been doing lately since my last video on him. Now, I really want to encourage you guys, if you haven't caught up on the whole situation, to go back and actually check my previous videos, because they really give you a good step-by-step insight on not only how we got to this situation, but it really gives you a good perspective on Nick himself. The last time we've seen Nick, he just left Graceland, and he was hopping in and out of a variety of sober livings, picking and choosing what he actually wants to do in the sober living, and of course, thinking that the world revolves around him. But the one thing that everybody can actually be certain about, no matter how long he stays away and talks a horrendous amount of shit on Graceland, he still uses him as his safety net whenever life turns into shambles, or basically he just doesn't get his way.
I hope you guys are happy. I'm gonna have to call Pat right now. I'm gonna have to call fucking Pat right now, bro.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
Please call, please, Aunt, please.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
Bro, why is none of the phone ringing, bro?
Please leave your message.
Bro, This is the shit that I'm talking about, man. I'm trying to stay calm, bro. This is not fair, bro. It's not fair, bro.
Your call has been forwarded.
Nobody's answering the phone, bro. Nobody's answering the phone. Madison,
Hey, what's going on?
can I please try again? Somebody got me kicked out. They called from the internet and have been complaining. They figured out which sober living I'm in, and he's an older man. Jose's on the other line. I guess he's trying to call through, but he's giving me my money back. He's giving me my money back, and I haven't done anything wrong. The only thing I've done is literally help them out in any way that I can since I've been here, and I paid my rent. Like, I haven't done anything.
Now, as much as he likes to talk shit on Graceland and how it's not really a proper recovery center, or that when he got there, it wasn't how he thought it was going to be, or even the staff that they were supposed to be helping him recover was doing the very thing that they were telling him not to do, I am 100% sure that Nick knew what he was getting himself into. Not in regards to him paying rent just to be able to stay there, because I'm sure the only way you were actually able to convince Nick to go there was if it was going to be free in some sense.
So he said, we're going to scholarship Nick for a year, because I couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? So, like, the only way that, like, the bullshit that you have to do to stay at Graceland, the only way that it's worth it is if, like, dude, like, it was all, bro, I only got scholarship for 3 fucking months.
But in regards to people using him and his likeness for their own beneficial gain. Because even on the way to Graceland, when he was taking the Greyhound buses to actually get there, he let everybody know what he actually thought he was going to be when he got there, because he posted a video telling everybody that he was actually going to be a star.
Dude, I'm going to be a star, bro.
At this point in time, he saw Patrick Ridge in some sense as his holier-than-thou person that was gracious enough to extend a helping hand to somebody in need.
So we had to discuss it, and after like a lot of discussion, we decided, yeah, we're gonna let him back. And
it was only at the point where he started to understand that he wasn't going to get any special privileges, but was actually going to be treated like any other resident at Graceland, that he started to turn and tell everybody that the place wasn't actually what he thought it was going to be.
Yeah, bro, it's like, okay, so I went back, and like I thought everything was going to be good because I'm live streaming. The engagement was way up, you know what I mean? And you know, just figure out how to stay busy, you know, get the money and just stay busy, whatever, and then, like, you know, start life. But then I go back, and I was there for 9 days, and now I'm not there anymore. So
now, I just want you to keep in mind that the way that Nick found out about Graceland was on social media. And the way that Graceland promotes their whole recovery center is through the residents and them being a part of the whole social media presence. So when it was time for Nick to be a part of their whole social media PR, it was obviously very successful, telling everybody that he actually made thousands of dollars for Patrick and the recovery center. This is exactly how Nick thought that Graceland used him. He thought he was going to be a star coming to Graceland and basically be the center of attention. So when he finally came to understood that he was just going to be treated normally like any other resident, getting your phone taken away, not being able to access social media in any sense, and eventually having to pay rent in order to stay, this is why he says that Graceland didn't turn out the way he thought he did.
You know what I mean? I'm not a victim in this situation. That's not what I'm saying. But I just want to I want to move forward.
In reality, yes, they absolutely did use Nick in order to better their social media presence, but there's no doubt in my mind, even after being treated like any other resident, he did in fact get special privileges for the sake of Patrick Ridge wanting Nick to actually stay at Graceland by giving him his phone back at certain points and even allowing him to come back after he left multiple times.
Tired of fucking worrying about what thing I have to explain to what stranger. Man, I'm not gonna do this again. I want to fucking be a real man with a real family and a real job.
And now that he's out of Graceland, according to him, he's back at square one trying to stay focused on his sobriety and, in his words, make better choices.
Because they got mad that I was winning battles and that I made enough money to get stable. They got mad. They were watching me on TikTok the entire time. I went to another sober living house. They figured out which one. I believe that Madison is the reason why. I believe because Madison doxed me.
How many times can you restart from square one? How many times can you continuously tell yourself, I'm going to make better choices, but then immediately don't make better choices?
Thank you, ChatGPT. All of my questions were answered. So back to the topic of conversation. that we started on, back to the game plan. I spoke with the director at a sober living in my hometown, and he said that I'm approved to come.
Now, one thing I'm going to say fairly early on, because I really want you guys to keep this little trinket in mind, but we're not going to see any evidence until later on in the video, is that Nick is still on hard drugs. And I don't mean the plant. Now, do I actually know specifically what hard drugs that he's actually been taking at any time? Because he even said himself, he has a certain drug of choice. I don't know if he's taking that drug of choice.
Your fucking credit habit is $150. I paid for every bit of it.
But he even admitted himself, now that he's going through his old jail burden era, that he finally wants to turn his life around for the 100th time, and that he's going to give up making stupid decisions and hard drugs. So with the recovery center finding Suboxone hidden in his room, a drug that basically helps through withdrawals, and him basically admitting that he's going to once again get off of hard drugs after his whole debacle, it really stands the question on, did Nick ever really truly recover or even attempt to recover? I'm no one to really judge anybody's situation, but one thing I can understand is a drug addict's way of thinking.
What did he say?
My understanding of Nick is that he's not addicted to the substances because at a certain point in time, he can get off them if he truly wants to. The true addiction that he has is the social media addiction. Whenever it doesn't work out to the extent that he actually thinks it's going to, it pushes him to rely on other things that give him a sense of satisfaction as much as the social media does. In simple terms, when one thing doesn't work out, he relies on another thing to feel any type of good, and well, that's just a recipe for disaster, because we can see he's been trying to do social media for years, and as much as he thinks it's working out, it's just not working out to the extent that he's hoping for, so it's forcing him to rely on other things.
Just want a home and a community and people that care about me, and a job and a fucking reason to wake up in the morning. I don't feel like that's asking too much.
I've been covering Nick for a fairly long time now, and I can confidently say that everything he's saying, everything he's doing is no different than what he's actually done in the past year. Still feeling sorry for himself with the stupid choices that he makes, still swearing that he's never gonna touch hard drugs again, and bumming it from hotel to hotel, sometimes not even able to get a hotel, all to buy his time until he gets accepted into another recovery program.
That's why I'm starting over square zero again at yet another program.
When Nick went to Graceland, that was his opportunity to get away from the toxic environment that he made for himself back in Greenville with his then girl Mariah, who he swore up and down that was left in the past to never return to his life again. Even the way Mariah talks about Nick made everybody understand that she wanted to be done with him and move on with her life. But as soon as Nick touched down back in Greenville and was doing the same old manic behavior that he's been doing for years before Graceland, who do you think got back in contact with him?
I didn't hit live. Dude, I didn't hit live. I didn't hit live. I didn't hit live. I didn't hit live. Hang on. They're gonna find us.
Who? Who?
Please hang on. I didn't look.
Who is gonna find us?
Listen.
During the first couple of episodes I was covering Nick, I never really understood how she felt or what she really wanted, because both of them were not only abusing each other, but they really couldn't communicate on how they actually felt without screaming and arguing. For Mariah to basically proclaim that she was absolutely done with Nick before he went to Graceland, just for her to immediately get back in contact with him when he came back to Greenville, just shows me that not only is she bad as Nick when it comes to being addicted for the toxic environment, but it's starting to become more prevalent that she loves the dramatic attention that the internet gives them for their toxic behavior as much as Nick does, just a little more reserved than he is. There are two types of people in this world, givers and takers, and I'm pretty sure you can understand which one Nick is, because when he's not taking from Greenville or taking from his followers or even taking from Mariah, he relies on basically the only person left in his life that he can, which is his sisters.
What's up, sis? Appreciate you spending time with me, keeping me safe. Sorry I didn't do this weeks ago when we talked about it. I thought that things were going to work out between me and the ex-girlfriend, and she decided to take the money and run,
So when he's basically unable to afford anything on his own, he periodically stays with his sisters and their baby son. Now, I'm not a Nick hater. Any of the people that I really talk about on this channel, I don't really have hatred for, so I'm not actively rooting for their downfall. As a matter of fact, I really wish he would get a grip on reality and change his life around. But I really do wish people would stop enabling Nick in the sense of allowing him to continue to freeload and manipulate them for his own benefit. Nick has had various jobs in the past, but nothing has ever been concrete. The people that send him money and allow him him to leech off of them gives him the okay to not make any job permanent because he knows that people will end up taking care of him. He did this to Mariah. He does this all the time to his followers, and now that he's starting to rely on his sister, of course he's masking it as spending time and being family with them. But we all know the truth. He has nowhere to go besides another recovery center. Nick only does 3 things in his life: sleep, make TikTok videos, and try to find another program center that he can actually join. And it was only a matter of time before Nick finally got accepted into another recovery center.
I do too. Isn't this so much better, guys, than the motel? Isn't this so much better than the motel, guys? I don't want to be living in extended stays and work camps.
As much as he looks to be happy he's finally getting another chance to get clean and better, to me, it just really seems that he's happy not paying full price for a hotel just to stay at. You would think in his new recovery program that he would take all possible actions to try to stay there and not make any type of ruckus to get him kicked out. But come on, we know that Nick absolutely can't sit there and shut the hell up. Not even in the first couple of days, he's already continuing talking shit on Graceland.
Then you're going to probably go to Sober Living America, Solutions, or one of the main names, and they're going to put you to work, and you're going to pay program fees, and you're going to go to meetings, and you're going to get sponsored, and you're going to work steps, and then that's going to be it, and you're going to get off probation, you know, and you're going to be a productive member of society again. You're not going to have cameras thrown in your face and write 250,000 words because you left out a cup, you know, like that is, you are on the set of a reality TV show, and you are the sympathy card that is making the star of the show a good person for helping you. You're not the star of the show, brother.
But then at the same time, he's giving Patrick a lot of credit for what he does with the recovery program.
Patrick, unblock me on TikTok. I don't fucking hate you. I don't hate Graceland. I wanted to be a part of it so bad.
This is something I really want you to pay attention to because it's a part of Nick's manipulation tactic. He'll talk bad and negative things about the recovery program or any person at all, but in the same sentence, he'll compliment and give them credit for various other things. So when it comes down to being confronted about the negative things that he actually says, he can always flip it around and say that he was talking more positively than negatively. He did it to Mariah, he did it to Graceland, and I guarantee he's gonna be doing it to the new friends that he made at the recovery program that he's basically forcing them to be a part of his TikTok lifestyle while he's in the recovery program. As much as it does seem like they're pretty interested in the whole TikTok content at first, appearing in the background, and even have a little bit of a conversation with the chat at times, we can definitely see that there was conflicting moments between the residents when Nick was basically tried to use the entire residence as his own content house. He'll take up entire rooms, whether it be the kitchen, the bedroom, or the living room, just have loud conversations with various people on his live streams that honestly, he has absolutely no business talking to because Britt was literally the person that he had sex with at the grocery store that eventually got him kicked out of Graceland, and check the star needs to stop worrying about everybody else and take care of them goddamn kids he always had screaming in the background. Is this focusing on recovery? Does posing for the camera and talking shit on other people do anything to better your situation? Or is this just the same old Nick doing the same old things like he always does? Everything but recovery. This is the one time in Nick's life that I actually think he really used 100% of his brain power, because when he saw the recovery program house was starting to feel the effects of having Nick around constantly doing TikToks and being on TikTok live, he saw that the situation, as much as it was beneficial in the beginning, was starting to affect the other people negatively. So he took it upon himself to leave the recovery program just so they wouldn't have to deal with anything that could possibly happen from Nick doing TikTok there.
I don't want to be selfish and stress those guys out with all my bullshit on the internet.
But if you thought even for a second that anything was going to be different since the moment he found this recovery program, then you owe me $5. Because no matter what happens to Nick, he will always be Nick. He even says it himself that he thought he would be 19 forever.
I thought it went on forever. I thought I was going to be 19 forever. Well, I turned 33 next year. I just turned 32.
So in a way, his behavior kind of makes sense. Someone that's so desperately to reclaim their younger years while they're getting older and slowly fading into irrelevance. At this point of his life, we can see that he's getting so desperate just to get a place to stay where he really doesn't have to pay rent or a substantially lower amount of rent, because he's literally offering sex in exchange for a place to live.
I promise I will. If you have intentions on being that kind of interaction with me, I promise you, I have all of the time and energy and attention in the world, multiple rounds every day. I need it as soon as I wake up, as soon as I get home, multiple times before I go to sleep. Very, very, very orally talented. Something like a singer, except for, you know, I don't spend too much time showing off my skills, you know, but very, 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 very orally talented man, very well spoken is what I'm saying.
Like, we all knew that Nick did a lot of wild things in his younger years, but this is literally prostitution with extra steps. This is where we finally meet Wyatt, or Y-Easy on TikTok. At first, Wyatt is just another one of the person that Nick talks to, trying to extort everything he actually can out of him. But as you know, or you're gonna learn later on in the video, Wyatt becomes one of the most important people, if not the most important person in Nick's life, not only because Nick begins to isolate everybody that says anything negative about him, like Benzo or Mike Yuga, but when he finally gets thrown in jail, as we're later going to talk about in this video, Wyatt is the only person actually trying to help Nick with the situation by giving him advice how to act in prison, but also giving him a lawyer, which is 10 times the effort than anybody's actually doing, like Check the Star or even Mariah. But in the meantime, before we actually get to that point, Nick is just going to act like more of a creep to women.
You could actually have me. You could have a pet Nicholas in your home today. Yeah, you know that TikToker Nick? Yeah, he's my pet now. He does whatever I tell him to.
Nick isn't looking for a place to stay where he can pay rent. He's not looking for a place where he can actually contribute to the living situation. What he wants is to stay in your house rent-free and pay with his penis. Now, I'm not gonna say how valuable his penis is, because to some people that's actually legal tender. But the way that he treats people, the way that he treats his friends, the way that he treats basically anybody that starts to build a doubt in his dream, or basically says anything negative about him at all, I don't know why anybody would want to bring that type of energy into their home, because he needs to understand that he's not a 90-pound female. He's probably over a 200-pound man with manic and bipolar tendencies that can literally change on a dime. Now, personally, I don't know if he would actually abuse anybody physically, because the only evidence that we actually have of him and Mariah beating the crap out of each other was when they were together in the beginning stages of their relationship. He can't honestly expect anybody to feel any type of comfortability with him around when this is how he acts when nobody's around. One thing I don't understand about creators nowadays is that when they say the most basic understandings of life, they act like it's the biggest revelation in the world. I don't like to make fun of anybody's mentality, because you never really know how they actually got to that mentality. But just like how Nick says he's gonna be sober and make better choices, and even when Britt says that she doesn't need a man to make her happy, really makes me want to go like, no fucking shit. No shit. You're supposed to take care of yourself and make better choices, not rely on anybody else for your happiness. That's like the most basic human understanding, and it doesn't make you a fucking philosopher to figure that out in your 30s. And I honestly don't even feel sympathy for any of these people, because all the choices that they made that led them up to their addiction and led them to this point in life, they did it themselves. I can't really speak on Britt's situation personally, because I haven't really been following her as hard as I've been following Nick, but I can confidently say that Nick has a decent relationship with his mother. Although it wasn't perfect, a lot of the choices that led him to his fucked up life that he has right now was 100% his choice. He chose to make bad decisions. He chose to let people influence him into making even more bad decisions, and now pushing close to 30, he's choosing not to better his situation and keep dancing around TikTok like he's still in his teens. Absolutely not saying that if Nick got his life together, he couldn't continue to do TikTok. Don't come on here, try to act like an adult. Don't come on here trying to act all big and bad when you have to beg $5 for a fucking hamburger for lunch. As always, every now and then, Nick likes to hop back on the topic of Graceland, either talking shit about it or even talking to one of the members about his experience there.
Are you still good with Pat? Like, are you good with that?
I do not harbor any resentment towards Pat or Madison, but I do feel like they need to hold themselves accountable, man, because it's not just me, it's everybody in that house, staff included, man. Everybody. They're wrong, man. But I've got my own video or whatever that I'm going to post, and then I don't want to talk about Graceland anymore. I'm just going to share what my experience is, and that's saying, hey, I came here wanting a better life and to be a part of a community and have a job, all the things that I was promised, and I didn't get what I was promised, and that's it.
But like, all right, I'm not trying to like say anything. I'm not trying to be mean to you or anything, but like, I think your expectations. Well, actually, let's start off like this. What were your expectations coming into Graceland?
For them to be people of their word and not make shit up as they go along, which is exactly what the fuck happened.
Like what? Like
for the structure and for the expectations that were set on me when I successfully did the things that I needed to do to get through my phases and stuff. Keep moving goalposts. Keep me in the dark, basically. Just keep Nick in the dark. You know, he doesn't need to know anything. We just need him to keep making the videos and just keep doing whatever he tells us to do. He doesn't need any freedom. He doesn't need to know nothing because he's going to spiral. No, bros, because when he finds out the truth, he's not going to participate anymore. And he found out the truth and he fucking left. Is what happened. I found out about all the money. I found out about all the bullshit that was happening while I was on that fucking table writing words, bro. And it's just like, didn't sit well with me that I was promised a year scholarship. And then I was asked to pay $2,000 a month after 90 days and I still couldn't use my phone. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see it in your perspective, but you got to remember, like, you were there to get sober, not according to Pat. According to Pat, I was there to build a social media brand. Yeah.
That's what he said on video on my way over there. He said Nick is coming to Graceland to build the social media platform. That's what he said. And then Danielle chimed in and said, "Oh, but we want to help him too." Oh yeah, I guess, yeah, we're gonna help him. But that is exactly what he said.
One thing that I really like to point out is that Nick constantly likes to shove in everybody's faces that he got absolutely nothing from going to Graceland. But earlier in the video, we talked about how Nick, on the way to Graceland, created a video that I think showed his true feelings about the situation he was getting himself into when he was referring to the situation as he was going to become a star. And after Graceland, he even said it himself that the exposure from not only being at Graceland, but from doing TikToks with Patrick Ritz for the time being, made him go mega viral. So if I'm understanding the situation correctly, as much as Nick really did go to this recovery program across the country to get quote unquote sober, I feel like he had more of the mentality that it was going to be a great opportunity for him to get even more exposure on TikTok than he was actually going to Graceland to get sober. We all know that Nick has been in and out of like 10 recovery programs at this point, so if he couldn't commit himself to getting sober at any of the previous 10 recovery programs, why would going across country to a recovery program that is all about social media give him a better chance at recovering? It would make sense that before he actually went to Graceland, he thought that everything Graceland did was a part of their social media. Everything he saw on the Graceland page and the way that they conducted the recovery program, he must have thought everything was exactly like those videos that he saw, and there was no behind the scenes effort that wasn't on camera. He basically saw Graceland as a fairy tale, and it was only until he actually read the book and saw how many pages you actually have to read to reach the end of that fairy tale that he decided that it actually wasn't what he thought it was going to be. But to put it in a little more graciously, as I said in my second Nick Harris video, he thought that Graceland was a social media rehab and he was going to be the star. And when he found out that Patrick was the actual princess and not him, he didn't want to be part of the fairy tale anymore. Running out of money and all options eventually forces Nick to try to get a meaningful job by becoming a construction flagger through a staffing agency. Everybody on Reddit and everybody on TikTok absolutely thought that Nick was lying through his teeth about trying to get a meaningful job, and you cannot blame them whatsoever. Nick has screamed to holy hell that he will never get a job and that TikTok is his job. So when it actually came time for Nick to show everybody that he was working a real job, let's just say everybody was more than surprised.
The day labor stuff, I'm gonna show up and do whatever I need to do for the staffing agencies every single day until I get into a warehouse plant situation. If you have side work, please message me. Furniture moving, yard landscaping, whatever.
But before he starts his job, he has to purchase a couple things in order to be accepted, like a safety vest or some steel-toed boots. Since Nick has absolutely no more money that he could spend on just buying the basic necessities, he's trying to force his audience to not only donate, but he's degrading them for not donating enough. If you're not stroking his ego or donating what he considers a significant amount, he absolutely doesn't want to talk to you. And when Wyatt brought up his past convictions, he immediately shut down and kicked him out of the conversation, not only because he doesn't want people focusing on it, but because he actually has active warrants in other states.
So you put your hat off to it? Hey, hell yeah. That's what's up.
I have convictions on my record that I had to plead guilty to avoid a very lengthy sentence because I didn't have money to afford a lawyer. And in the United States, that is how the judicial system works. If you can't pay for a lawyer, you're not going to get proper representation.
Sometimes though, when Nick is talking about or talking to people that he actually cares about, it's nice to see that he has a softer side, like when he tries to help his sister start his own social media career. We don't know if Nick's sisters volunteered or he manipulated them into getting Nick a new phone with them on a family plan, but sometime between him getting a new phone and Wyatt's next live, when Wyatt was trying to show his live something on his TikTok live, he accidentally leaked Nick's phone number. At the moment, Nick has 2 phones on a cellular plan. God only knows how he's actually paying for them or if he's paying for them, but this would cause Nick to receive a brigade of text messages, both good and bad for the upcoming months. Surprisingly, he didn't really seem to have much of a problem with it, proudly proclaiming that the number that Wyatt leaked was actually his number.
Girl, why would I go live with Wyatt on his backup and give him all this clout with my page going viral because he crashed out? And he did an actual no-no among content creators. Like,
I think the way that Nick views any type of attention, regardless of if it's good or bad, to be positive, because he loves attention from anybody and everybody. For the moment, he's being more than less indifferent about Wyatt and what he did to him, but we're all going to come to see that Nick is going to love and rely on Wyatt much more than he actually ever thought he would. Do you guys remember that job that Nick was proud of and everybody was actually in disbelief that he was getting a meaningful job? job? Well, in his words, the first day he was going to be taken across state lines and put on the side of the road. But eventually he decided that he actually didn't want to do that for the risk that people finding out where he actually is and having somebody show up.
Because I wasn't expecting to go out of state my first day. I'm serious.
Reiterating that it absolutely had nothing to do with the warrants that he constantly tells people that isn't true, because why would a legitimate staffing agency hire somebody with warrants? But doing just the littlest quickest of searches on Google, you can easily understand that the staffing agency might have missed his warrants by not doing the correct or full background check. Now, it is true we don't know the legitimacy of these so-called warrants, but at least Nick didn't throw away the whole job prospect altogether and instead got a different position at the agency by setting up tables and cleaning up for party events.
Well, I can still flag, but I have a different position. I'm working inside, so why wouldn't I want to be inside working?
Now, besides trying to leech off Mariah for the billionth time, he starts to go live regularly with another TikTok creator called Benzo. And at this current moment, there is actually a petition on change.org to get Benzo kicked off of TikTok. Not surprisingly, as you're going to become to understand, as much as it seems Benzo is Nick's new buddy, even Nick himself signed the petition to get Benzo banned off of TikTok, and for a very good reason, honestly. So as Nick spends time with the sisters, goes live on TikTok every day proclaiming that it is his second job.
It's your fault, brother. It's your fault that you're watching me at work.
And tries to explain to a brain-dead, emotionless drug addict about some terrible experiences that he went through when he was younger.
Nick, I feel like I owe you an apology. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't understand. I'm just meeting you, so I don't know how touchy some of these subjects are.
He's running around trying to find a better primary job by getting gig work.
I'm not asking for money, I'm asking for work.
Fighting off pedophile accusations.
Do you think that my sister would have her fucking playpen over here? And I'm fucking trustworthy enough to have him around me, because ain't never been a fucking weird vibe from me.
And continuously talking shit on people that were only trying to help him and be his friends, such as Benzo and of course Graceland.
The recording of me talking shit about you, because I wasn't. They were trying to tell me why not to talk to you. That's what was going on.
And just because you allowed them to be there, that means you were talking shit. I get it. I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it. So we clear it up and it's fine. What's going on? He's a fucking shark. He is a shark. Okay? He's predatory. Okay? He's slick mouthed. He's fucking fast talking. Okay? Sign. Yes, good, got him. All right, guys, we're good. Let's wrap it up. Back to the shelter.
The purpose and significance that anybody else has in Nick's life all depends on what they can give to him and how popular they actually are. This is very apparent because of the way he actually treats Benzo. Benzo is obviously not the most popular or liked person on TikTok, and Nick, understanding this, definitely doesn't treat him the way he treats Wyatt, because he knows the importance and potential that someone like Wyatt could bring compared to somebody like Benzo. This is even more understandable when you find out that he stopped talking and being friends with Mike Yuga, somebody that he's been friends with for a very long time, just because he had a little bit of criticism about Nick's life's choices.
Hey guys, I need a place to stay, and he's like mocking me. Bro, get out of here, dude. You're not doing it on my page. Watch this. Mike, shut up. Sit down. Be quiet.
Shut up and sit down. He
Go
said,
on somewhere. How about that? Hey, Mike.
oh,
Unfollow.
Nick, what is the matter?
Oh, he's back.
Mike, I unfollowed you, by the way.
I don't even know how anybody can authentically be Nick's friend when he treats everybody like dog shit. Even when everybody's trying to be all good and dandy, if you're still not giving Nick what he requires out of talking to anybody on the app, then you're useless to him. Putting aside the fact that we already know that Nick never really stopped taking hard drugs from what we talked about earlier, it's honestly funny how hard he tries to convince everybody that he isn't doing anything he's not supposed to. Using the fact that he's spending time with his sisters and now that he has somewhat of a stable relationship with Mariah as proof that he's been focusing on the correct things instead of doing drugs. And yeah, admittedly, when you're looking at the situation objectively compared to how he was jumping from a hotel to a recovery center, it is a bit of an improvement in his situation. But honestly, I can't take them seriously, just for the fact that he literally foreshadows the very thing that he's going through at this moment. But as you're gonna see later on in the video, as much as he's trying to act all hard and tough and pretend that he's this big guy whenever he got arrested, when he finally does get arrested, we can see that the reality of this tough guy act disappears pretty quickly when he's faced with actual tough and dangerous people.
I've been to prison, so I know how a fucking convict's mind works.
This is the point where we start seeing Wyatt a lot more during Nick TikTok's lives, proclaiming that he's his new best friend and they're gonna start bettering their lives together. Wyatt even takes it upon himself to take a trip down to Greenville where Nick is in order just to meet and do some TikTok together. Now there's one thing I could probably confidently say is that I think Wyatt does truly see Nick as a friend. I'm not gonna say how Nick feels about Wyatt because we all know how he treats people when they don't really have any more use for him. But in regards to how Wyatt sees Nick, I genuinely think that Wyatt doesn't put Nick on a pedestal and sees him as an equal standing person that has gone through so much in life and is just trying to come back.
As content creators, man. And right now I'm trying to kind of pull him back to the pre-Island Boy times.
Yeah. I hate to say they're new, but it's mine.
I hate to say it that way.
It's part of it. It's part. You know what I mean?
Granted, he may not know as much as everybody else actually knows about Nick to really judge his character, but from understanding the type of person that Wyatt is, I don't really think he cares. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody has a lot of detrimental problems in their life, and it really depends on the person to let those things hold them back from doing whatever they want to do. That's how I can see how Wyatt thinks Nick's life. Not so much pitying him, but understanding that Nick doesn't really have any real friends, and with Wyatt being an up-and-coming streamer on TikTok, it's pretty much the perfect scenario for both of them. Nick gets a friend, and Wyatt gets some decent exposure. One thing I don't really understand about Nick is that when he's in the presence of another guy, just like how he was back in the recovery center, he tries to get in touch and, in his words, have fun with any local girls.
How much money I got? My number, by the way, 864-361-1580. If you are local, that's how you're going to get my attention right now. If you local and you're trying to have fun with us and you can prove that you can have the fun with us, do not text my number if you're under the age of 21. You have to be 21 and up to text my number, man.
Like, I can understand inviting people over the sake of content creation, just like how he did with Wyatt. Why does he have this inept need to impress the people that he's hanging out with by trying to get other women's attention when he knows it himself that he's never going to do anything with anybody else besides Mariah? Because in a post that he made himself, he states that even though that him and Mariah are basically friends, and from that point on they're going to stay friends, they still choose to sleep with each other because, in his words, I don't want to catch a disease, or I don't want to meet someone worse. As they stay in a hotel, going on TikTok live together, getting threatened from a random phone number that continuously calls and texts Nick.
Don't go outside, bro. I might have to call the police.
Why?
Because I might have to.
What?
And continue to beg on TikTok for money to pay Nick's phone bill and money to eat. Mariah starts to come over and spend more time with Nick and Wyatt. Of course, everything's great at first, as everything always is between Mariah and Nick. But just like how old saying goes, if the past is not remembered, it's doomed to repeat itself.
This is crazy, man. Why can't I have a friend that doesn't do stuff like this, man?
And then she said, tell him to tighten up.
All right, I'm tightening up. I love you, baby. I respect you. You're beautiful, you're amazing, I'm nothing without you.
As soon as one of the most littlest inconvenience happens to Nick that Mariah caused, such as accidentally taking his phone charger, we can see that old habits start to boil up to the surface. Difference this time, he has Wyatt to tell him to tighten up.
Now I just heard what you said, yeah.
From a Benjamin,
just registered, yeah. It's all good, man. I'm not going.
Yeah, no.
I'm listening to what she said.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to trust her, okay? She said she's on the way. And I'm just gonna trust her, I guess. My phone's about to die, y'all.
That kind of scared me. They reminded me.
Yeah, bro. She's laughing at me right now.
Yeah, I gotta.
My box is my charger's not on the table.
Yeah, I gotta hit this. That was scary.
Why is she doing this to me?
All good. It's all good. I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure that Wyatt understood the toxic, complicated relationship that he was getting himself into when he actually started to be friends with Nick. There's no way in hell he didn't see the past videos of the dude being a manic crazy ass. But I think we're starting to see that Wyatt is starting to understand how tiring, mentally and physically draining and just straight up annoying it is to be constantly dealing with Nick's fighting with Mariah. Something that the rest of us know far too well.
It's not fair to me, man. This isn't fair to me, man. My happy isn't fucking important to anybody, man.
It is to me.
As much as Nick loves to proclaim that his relationship with Mariah is 10 times better than it was, we can still see that no matter how much time has passed and no matter how much they actually try to get along, they will always find a way to get under each other's skin. Although this time around, there's a solid difference in the way that Nick is actually handling the situations, and it's all due to Wyatt.
I need help. I said I need
You
help.
try to mediate one more time, Nick. If you ever think she's ever gonna run and be on the internet, and you think that that's not how it works. Y'all are too in love. She wouldn't be able to do it. I'm telling you. So don't be scared about that.
When I said that I genuinely think that Nick sees Wyatt as a true friend, because not only is he isolated himself from all his other friends that he already has, but Wyatt is helping him manage, control himself, not only on the way he acts on live, but also how to deal with the situation and feelings when dealing with Mariah. I simply cannot wrap my head around why Mariah decided to actually go back to Nick, because before he left the Graceland, Mariah and Nick both said that they had a pretty good job lined up while at the same time moving back in with her parents. So in her case, she basically had a significant reset and help getting her back into a standing in life from when they were together. But I don't see any of that. She either lied and didn't have a job or was unable to actually keep that job and abandoned probably the only people left on the earth that are willing to do anything to actually help her out, her own parents. Now, I actually don't know the situation that she has with her parents, whether good or bad. I definitely think it's a better situation than hopping from hotel to hotel, hoping that the manic bipolar person that you have to deal with just in order to stay there likes you for that day. Even when he has the opportunity to talk to another larger creator, such as Amber Unavailable. If you're curious about this person, I made an entire video about her escapades through a shopping mall, and let's just say it got a little weird and nasty. You'll like the video if you're into that type of thing. He can't put the way he feels or thinks aside for 2 seconds just to have this opportunity. Whether or not he did it on purpose, he's so focused on the wrong things that he couldn't even mute himself when having a quick argument with Mariah.
Amber Unavailable, y'all.
What's up? No, did you just get another one?
Yeah, I did. I love you.
I love you too. Why is it? Why?
Hey, Mariah, please. This is my platform. Please don't do that.
I'm not doing anything. Get
Be
away
nice
from me.
to her.
I didn't do anything.
I muted it. Stop. I'm getting
I
upset.
didn't do anything. Get away from me.
But when I say that their relationship is both bipolar and manic in so many different ways, that in one video they could be yelling, screaming at the point of basically fighting each other, and then in the next video,
Working jobs? Yes?
Yes, I'm tired.
Okay. I'm gonna let you sleep. Hold on.
My butt's out.
Okay. I won't
Be
pick you up.
careful.
Okay. Quietly and safely place her.
high-fiving, loving, and paying each other's bills. Like, trust me, I've been through my fair share of women, so I understand the ups and downs of how fast a relationship can actually be. But the way that he gets so angry and the way that she basically uncaring and a little bit vindictive, I will throw up from the jet lag of from just trying to catch up and trying to understand the way that they actually feel on a daily basis. So as time passed, eventually Wyatt had to return home, and I seriously doubt that Nick did this on purpose. But when taking Wyatt to the airport, they were late finding a parking spot that inevitably made Wyatt miss his flight. I wouldn't expect Wyatt to hold this against Nick because the only car that all three of them have access to is Mariah's. If both Mariah and Nick were the ones to actually take Wyatt to the airport, I can definitely see them taking up a little bit of time arguing and fighting before actually driving to the airport. That more than likely inevitably caused Wyatt to be late and miss his flight. So while Nick makes it back to his hotel around 6 in the morning, Wyatt is stuck at the airport until 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't really think this is much of a big deal. Everybody tried to make a point that Nick was the terrible friend for leaving Wyatt at the airport, but unless I was the actual reason that you're late for a flight, then more than likely I'm gonna drop your ass off too and go home, especially if it was 6 in the morning. Now this moment to me is absolutely hilarious because it literally solidifies what I was saying earlier in the video. When Nick talks shit on somebody, he does it in a very tactical way. He'll talk shit, demean, and ridicule everything that the person is actually doing, but then at the same time, he'll compliment various other things that they're doing just for the simple fact that if they ever talk to them in person or about that person ever again, he can deny and say that he wasn't talking shit, he was talking positively. This mentality of Nick couldn't be shown better than the first instance that he was back on a video call with Patrick Ridge since he left Graceland. Since he's left Graceland, all he's done is ridicule, talk shit about Patrick, the program, and everybody there. But as soon as Patrick surprises Nick by showing up on a TikTok live stream, Nick only has good and positive things to say about everybody and everything that they're doing, completely ignoring months and constant shit talk of so-called facts from what he experienced from Graceland.
Let's do that, Pat. Let's do that. Let's take a moment. I'll let you lead, man. And I want to be.
But I'm also really grateful that Nick would even be willing to talk to me. It's cool. I don't know. And I just was listening to. Yes, Marcus is at the house still. I just think it's incredible that like you remembered all their names.
Yeah, because they're my family, man.
it's like it really warms my heart, and it just kind of, yeah, man.
Papa Patrick, I might be a problem child, but I'm still one of your children, man. You know?
I hope so, bro. I have nothing but love.
Now, this next part was a little bit weird and confusing at first, not really on Nick's part, but trying to understand what Benzo is trying to do. I'm pretty sure you've noticed that Benzo hasn't really popped up in any of the clips that we've seen for a minute. And that's because not only did they have problems dealing with each other already, but Benzo created a TikTok video claiming Nick is looking up his sister's skirt. Now, a lot of people do make videos claiming that people are doing very weird stuff, and most of the time it's completely harmless because it stays on the internet. But when Benzo did this, it caused people to call the authorities, such as CPS, on Nick and his family, claiming that they were having an incest relationship, basically putting their child in danger.
So basically, he's trolling, and he's made a video that said, like, when I made that video for my sister, that I tried to look up her skirt for the video, and people are just, like, sending threats to my sister.
About CPS and calling the cops for incest and all this different kind of stuff.
That's insane, bro. That's insane. Because of his behavior and his followers, and I know that he's gone live and encouraged this behavior, bro.
Yeah.
You saw it?
I had to know.
I haven't seen a clip. I have not seen a clip. I'm just assuming.
He took that video down. I saw it and he took it down.
Yeah, dude.
I think it got recorded.
He needs to be off this app, dude.
Now, out of the entire time that I've been covering Nick and know all his ridiculous, stupid choices, this is probably one thing I can genuinely, without thinking, agree with Nick about. Nick is definitely weird mentally and socially, but only when it comes to other people. I do think that Nick genuinely cares about his family and wouldn't put them in any harm's way by doing something so ridiculous like that.
I promise you, after this battle, you will never be on my fucking phone again, bro. Ever. I will never acknowledge you, bro.
Fuck you, Benzo.
Yeah, fuck you, Benzo. That's my sister, by the way. You can say it again.
Fuck you, Benzo.
Go ahead, Katie. Let him know.
Damn, it's real.
Yeah, it's real, bro. Fuck you, Benzo. And if I ever saw you in real life, I'd crash out.
I'll just be honest for 2 seconds. This dude mannerisms and the way he carries himself really makes me want to punch him in the face. I've said it from my very first video that Nick is not the smartest guy, but the dude is a tank. Albeit a very short, muscular tank, but if the dude really wanted to, he probably could put Benzo in a coma. As much as Benzo really did take it too far, just trying to get a little bit of exposure from Nick, Nick still doesn't like to talk about or acknowledge any type of criticism, whether it be targeted towards him or the people he's going on TikTok live with, such as the deadbeat dad check the star.
All right, so why were you calling me out earlier about abusing women and animals when you know I don't do that?
You do that?
Let's be honest about that. I don't have any charges.
That's not what you said. You said you were calling me out about not following people back, and then you got upset.
No, that was originally what happened. But earlier you said that I abuse women and animals, and I was saying I'm the only one of us that doesn't have charges. That's what I was trying to tell you, and that's the truth.
Oh, so that means that you haven't got caught.
Are you dumb? I think she's dumb. No, it means that no woman has ever made allegations against me.
Oh,
So
no
don't
one
compare me
made
to.
allegations against me either, actually.
You don't have any charges?
Now,
That's what happens when I look your
not
name
against
up.
any women, sir.
That's what happens when I look your real name up.
Yeah, not against any women, sir.
So what is the DV against? A family member?
I don't have one DV on me, sir.
Now, I can't really attest to the information that Mike Yuga is saying. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Nick and Check the Star seem to be the only people that don't want to acknowledge their past, even though they proclaim that they have grown from it so much. There's a very simple understanding, and it even has a saying. If you can't acknowledge and learn from the past, then you're doomed to repeat it. I hope you got a good look at this goddamn turtle because I'm done dealing with him for the video. Not only is it super clear that he's desperate to get a little bit of attention from Nick when he was his friend, he honestly is just stupid because he could have been still friends with Nick to this day, getting clout off him, but instead he tried to turn on Nick thinking that all the people that dislike Nick would immediately start following him. Now, I'm absolutely not saying that being friends with Nick is beneficial, but if you're specifically looking for clout and don't really care what type you're getting, then being friends with Nick, as Wyatt understands, is beneficial when you're trying to garner a little bit of attention. Now, this next part actually did surprise me, not for the fact that Nick is once again begging for money, but this time, in fact, he straight up told everybody on TikTok Live how he actually felt about receiving money from other people.
Not asking any of my friends on the internet who have been asking me if I want to borrow money from them, and I don't want to do that. I want the chat, honestly, I want the chat to give it to me. I do. I have a very good reason why I want the chat to give it to me. And if you invest in me, I'll invest in you. If you invest, I don't know, a pizza, a sub, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe like a nice night at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or fucking Burger King.
The only reason he doesn't want to accept money from other creators or any one individual is because he knows that he will eventually have to pay that person back. But if the chat gives it to him, then obviously they're supporting him and they love everything he's doing. This is what freeloaders do. They will not accept anything that they eventually have to pay back, but will take anything that they don't. God damn it, Benzo looks like a fucking turtle. Please someone explain to me why half of everybody on TikTok looks like they got their tattoos off of a high school bathroom stall. I'm very under the impression, like, if you get a tattoo, it has to be meaningful. If that meaning is something very redundant, like your favorite TV show, it still has some type of purpose. But I literally cannot fathom what reason and meaning you can go behind getting your face tatted up like a 5-year-old drawing on you.
So listen, I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you pray and you really want to show some humility, a little arch in the back, I'm just saying, prayers get answered a lot quicker.
Oh my God, shut up, shut up, shut up, you blasphemous motherfucker, before I tell God in your ass.
Shut the door, please.
I forgot to get one more thing if I'm allowed to.
Mariah,
Yes, Chuck.
how you doing? Sorry that he went live and we didn't tell you. I thought we told you.
Dude, it's not even that. Like, you want to know? Let me sit in front of him and let me make it a Mariah moment for a second. You want to know what bothers me the most?
What happened?
That I didn't know I was being recorded, and it's shut the fuck up. And the embarrassing part of me being so excited about some ramen noodle got filmed without me knowing. That's what bothers me. I know that's not
no harm. You know he didn't mean no harm. He just be live.
All I ask him, check every single time. I ask him, hey, just let me know if you hit the live button. It's not, don't hit the live button, don't be a TikToker. It's, hey, let me know. What if I didn't let him know and I walked out here ass naked and he got banned? What?
Yeah. I get it.
Let me know. Just let me know. Just let me know. Tell me to go in another room or hey, we're about to film and it's fine. Other than that, man, I can't. The intrusiveness of this app fucks with me. And he knows that.
I'm not even gonna lie to you guys at this point. I hate them both. I hate the voices. I hate the way they treat each other. I hate the fact that they can't see how stupid half the shit that they do is. Granted, I have been working on this video for over a week. Went through probably over 400 clips. Hearing them yell, scream, bitch, and moan over the littlest of things. How do you say? Fucking done with these two. There was recently a petition on change.org to get Lily Tino banned off the internet. If this video gets 200 likes, I will create my own petition on change.org to get Nick Harris banned off of TikTok. So if you really want to see the funny shit that this dude pulls out from people trying to get him banned off of TikTok, like the goddamn video, and I promise I will cover the whole goddamn thing. Nick and Mariah don't care who's in the room, who's on the video, or who can hear them. They fought in front of their TikTok audience, they fought in front of Wyatt, and now they're fighting in front of Check the Star. At some point, you really gotta start wondering if they're doing this on purpose for clips, because I really do think Nick understands that the drama in fighting is really what makes his content. This is a clip back in the day where Nick and Mariah still had their apartment and was going through a super abusive phase. And I'll be honest, this is the only person that I've actually ever heard dig into Nick and Mariah this much, and I am here for it.
Dude, you're the biggest built pussy I've ever met in my life, dude. You're a pussy. I'm here for my best friend because all I'm getting is people sending me videos. This is my message. Your house, you don't pay, don't your sugar daddy pay these bills?
I don't have a sugar daddy.
Let's go, quit. All I'm getting is people sending me text messages, videos, TikToks, whatever.
You don't understand his paranoia. You don't understand the fucking fear.
Okay, then get medicine, bitch. Like, everybody's got paranoia.
Stop talking about me this way in my house. Everybody can leave.
This house smells like fucking cat litter and you ain't got a cat no more.
Okay, everybody can leave. Everybody can leave, please. I appreciate it. And I'm keeping a roof over her head and I'm keeping her safe.
But you don't got to. She's got a place she can go. You're not no fucking white knight savior.
Okay, that's fine. But
oh, I made her hit me. I leaned into the punching, but let me get her locked up. Oh, I'll put money on your books, babe. You're a bitch. You ain't nothing but a bitch. Quit telling people you're 5'8" because you're 5'5" at best, bitch. You're greasy, dandruff ass having, motherfucking steak ass house having self. Stop. And I wish you would try her while I'm here because I will break this TV in the living room, bitch. Let's go.
As time goes on, Nick is still frustrated that life basically isn't going his way. And we get to see a little glimpse into the desperation that he's probably going through at the moment by almost crashing out when they simply ask for his ID to buy a vape and tell him to stop asking customers for spare change.
Yeah, the 8. If you got it in the pink.
Which one would you like?
The pink one, if you got it in the... Yes, ma'am. If it has an 8 milligram. And whichever one... Okay, 6 is fine. Sorry, brother. I don't. I'll go grab my ID and come back. I'm tired of getting told no. I'm tired of getting told no. I'm tired of getting told no. Every time I turn around, no, no. I got my ID this time. Okay. I figured I look old, you know. I figured I look like I'm in my 30s. Well, I'm not doing that.
Finally, we are at the moment that you all have been probably waiting for, where for some reason, Nick took it upon himself to break into his alleged grandmother's house, according to Mariah, and from what it looks like to me, he's sifting and raiding the fridge. Some of the things that is severely lacking in the entire situation is context. There was no weird TikTok videos or him being weird on TikTok Live that would have led to this situation. As much as Nick's situation is pretty terrible compared to normal standards, he never had to break and enter into somebody's home just to get by. Even if he did refuse any type of money help from other content creators that would more than likely have to pay back, he would just force his TikTok audience to donate a little bit of money just to get him by. That's what Nick has always done. So when I tell you I'm genuinely confused on why Nick did this when he knows that not only does he have active warrants that would just increase the penalty of what he's doing, but he already has a previous breaking and entering charge for the same grandmother's house in the past. Regardless of whether or not they're actually going to take that into account, they're still going to see that he's a repeat offender of this type of behavior, and it would only exasperate the charges. This particular video that I got of Nick breaking and entering in his entirety is over 30 minutes long. So I can't really show the video minute by minute, but if you really want to see the clip in its entirety, then I encourage you guys to go to the channel It's Patty Melt. They post recordings of a lot of various locale TikTok lives, and I can honestly say that they're pretty well made, and they post very consistently. So if you don't want to hear me explaining the various situations that locales actually go through, they have absolutely zero commentary and just post the videos. The link will be in the description below. But during the TikTok video, while he's actually raiding the fridge, whether he meant it to or not, another TikTok creator ended up joining the live stream while he's in the act of raiding the fridge. The weird part about it was he didn't talk to them, he didn't even acknowledge that they joined the live stream. So from my understanding, he either really didn't know that he was on live at that moment, or he just really didn't care who saw him doing what he was doing. But before he actually even got to the grandmother's house in the first place, he was seen staring at his phone while he was on TikTok Live, talking to what it sounds like an Uber driver, giving him directions on how to actually get to the grandmother's house in the first place. So if he knew that he was on TikTok Live leading up to the moment when he got to his grandmother's house, and the fact that he continuously stared and checked on his camera, placing it in a certain position so he can get a better angle, it really makes me have a strong belief that even though he was literally doing something illegal, he still saw it as content. So it honestly begs the question on what was the purpose of this entire situation. Was he legitimately hungry that he had to break into somebody's house that he more than likely knew wouldn't prosecute just to get by? Or is this just one big PR stunt gone wrong? Now, I'm really trying not to talk about the gerbil because I could honestly make an entire video about him on just the stupid things that Benzo's done. But just to add a little bit more of the list of the stupid shit that this dude thinks it's okay to do, he gets on TikTok Live with Nick's mom to tell her about the entire situation. Now look, I really understand the ideology of farming clout off of another larger creator to grow your own audience. Benzo even said it himself that he was going to be leaking and talking about Nick from now on just to keep farming off of his name. But personally, I think that you kind of cross a line when you really don't know any of the family members personally, but yet you continuously talk about them, even getting in contact with them. Saying things about Nick and all his past wrongdoings is completely okay because he puts himself on the internet for everybody to judge for themselves. But for Benzo to bring Nick's mother and Nick's sisters on the internet just to get them in the mix of the controversy that they really don't need to be hearing from him, that's where I cross the line from Benzo doing what everybody else is doing to seriously harassing his family. There's no way in hell you're actually gonna convince me that Benzo is gonna tell the story in an unbiased, authentic way when that's the way he treats him and his family when there's absolutely no controversy. If there's one thing that I really do agree with Nick is that I really hope Benzo never meets Nick, because Nick would 100% crash out on Benzo. Now, before we move on, let's just take a second and appreciate that at some point in Nick's life, he did have a decent relationship with his family. Now, I just really want to say that I don't dislike Nick. In my first couple of videos, I didn't really understand in the entirety of the situation between him and Mariah and their abusive relationship, so I did criticize Nick a lot more than I did Mariah. But But since getting to understand the both of them a lot more since that point, I can still say that they're both manic drug addicts with very little goals and aspirations besides getting likes and views on TikTok. There was a certain point in time where he did TikTok and still fulfilled a lot of his responsibilities that he actually had to do. So in reality, if Nick and Mariah really wanted to buckle down and straighten out their life, they absolutely could, while still continuously doing TikTok like they did in the past. It was only after going viral for not regulating how they acted on TikTok that inevitably made them popular on the app. Seeing this opportunity, regardless of if it was positive or negative, it really seemed like they leaned into this ideology of broadcasting their entire life on TikTok that inevitably caused the years and years of spiraling out of control, trying to chase probably one of the most unhealthiest addictions that anybody can have in today's age, being addicted to clout. They got a little taste of it, and they've been chasing that feeling ever since. Obviously Nick more than Mariah, but since Mariah decided to throw away her perfectly good job and leave the only people that are probably willing to help her out in the world, her own parents, then she's just as bad as Nick. I really want someone to explain to me how it went from Nick smiling and working out with his family to him and Mariah fighting in a hotel room on TikTok Live while Nick exposing Mariah that he pays her phone bill and Mariah exposing that Nick is on Kratom. Now, this is the time where Wyatt, Nick's only friend at this point, becomes one of the most, if not the most important people in Nick's life. Because while there are other people, particularly women, sending money to Nick on his books, Wyatt is the only one calling lawyers and giving the TikTok Live audience a chance to donate their money to Nick. This is the moment where we finally find out from Nick's own mouth that he's been on hard drugs the entire time, whether or not it be Kratom or anything else. In a message he sends to Wyatt, he vows to quit any hard drugs and start making better life choices. Something we've heard from Nick a million times.
Money on your books, right? I was gonna give you 20 bucks just so you could call me or text me, okay? That's what I was doing. And as soon as I did it, someone said, only 20 bucks? So I said, all right, chat, you wanna do it? Go ahead, send me money then. And they did. That's what happened. So now we're gonna use the money to pay this guy, give you a little bit of hygiene, and then after that, you can't make no more deals.
I won't, I promise. This will never happen again, dude. I fucked up and I'm sorry. I promise you, dude. Look, you're like my dad right now, Wyatt. You're like my dad right now, bro.
Guardian, I'm gonna guardian you through this, bro. But you got it tomorrow.
I apologize, dude.
I just want to tell anybody now that maybe the people that be sending money to Nick, I super doubt anybody watches this video has any type of liking to Nick. But if in the off chance that this video does get to the people that are actually supporting Nick in this moment, I'm not telling you you shouldn't support the person that you genuinely want to support. But if you think anything he's telling you and all these promises that he's making to these people are actually real, then you really haven't been paying attention to anything I've been saying, or Nick has been acting for years now. Nick is an opportunist, and whatever situation that he's in, if he can benefit off of somebody else, then he absolutely will take it and promise anything to get it. It's only later on when life is good and dandy that he forgets everything that everybody did for him when he was down. He's not going to repay you, and the most he will repay you back is with his clout, which to him is worth more than any amount of money.
And I promise you it won't go like this again, bro. I made a move before I realized I had support in here, bro. And now they're trying to fucking fuck with me over it. I didn't know, bro.
That's how jail is.
I know. And that's all. And so if I would have known that, I would have never even made the move. But it's too late, so I'm just gonna handle it the way. I'm waiting on this fucking dude to get back over here with this information so I can tell you, dude. But all I can do is say,
if anything, you could just message.
You've been a real fucking friend to me, dude. You've been a real fucking friend to me, dude.
You was a real friend to me in person. But listen, if you can't get it in time and the phone hangs up, then just message me on your tablet.
Okay.
And then boom, it'll be sent to him. You're not going to get in trouble or anything. You're not going to get hurt. No one's going to jump you. You're fine. I'm going to make sure of that, okay? Just make sure you send it to me.
Okay. I'm sorry I sound stressed out earlier, bro. I won't never call you like that again, dude.
Dude, that was nuts. Okay. You attacked me, bro, and that's not cool.
I wasn't trying to, dude. It's just because of the way these phones sound. It's just because of the way these phones sound, bro. I promise you I'm not going to be a problem to you. And we'll be able to talk to chat together, bro. We'll be able to keep them updated on things. Dude, you're being such a good friend to me, and I believe what you're saying about other people and what they're saying about
You don't have to. As soon as it lets me send pictures and videos, I'm about to send them to you. It doesn't matter. You don't have to believe me.
I bet. I know. I believe you, dude. Trust me.
He's using people, and the only person that he's not using in the situation is Wyatt. Because ever since she went into jail, Nick is getting himself into trouble in the most stupidest of ways by making deals with other prisoners for commissary items, but Wyatt is calling him and telling him not to do those things and sending him money so he can actually fix the situations that he's getting himself into. And on top of that, he's calling him lawyers and trying to get him out of the actual situation. Regardless if that would actually work or not due to the past charges and severity of the breaking and entering charge, Wyatt continuously says that everything he's doing for Nick, he's doing for himself because he didn't have anybody to help him out when he was going through it. If there's one thing that I can actually say from this entire situation is that it does seem like Wyatt does see Nick as a true friend. Regardless of all the nasty, stupid shit that he's done in the past, and there is a lot. Wyatt understands that everybody goes through things, but they can still grow. And if I'm being honest, brutally honest, I'm kind of in the same boat as Wyatt. But I'm not gonna be kissing your ass and sucking your dick to make you feel better. I'm the type of person to say you're fucking stupid, but then after I say you're fucking stupid, I'm gonna say, all right, let's see what we can do to fix the situation. The difference between me and Wyatt is that Wyatt won't call him stupid and just say, let's fix it. But that's the problem with Nick. Nobody calls him out on the stupid stuff, even if he understands that he's doing it wrong. He still thinks he can get away with it without any real consequences because no one calls him out on it. A real friend would tell the person that he's fucking up. A real friend wouldn't want the person to continuously keep making stupid choices like that. But to be Nick's friend, even Wyatt understands that you cannot criticize him. You just have to guide him and hope that he learns it himself. And I'll be honest, the dude is 32 and unable to take the slightest amount of criticisms. Those type of people are hard to be friends with. Nick at the moment is basically calling anybody that can actually try and talk to explain and get a little bit of help for the situation. So let's hear a bit of what happened about the situation from his own mouth.
That I got my case beat, bro. I wasn't there to burglarize.
Yeah.
I didn't break in. I did not break in. I went into the laundry room because I was high. Dude, okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I was at the Holiday Inn. Me and Mariah have been fighting all day long, right? She threw a fit. She left. I blocked her. I met this person on Facebook, and you can see my last Facebook post is messages between me and a man named Brooks.
Yeah.
Well, he was offering me a place to stay, and I did not know that he was currently using methamphetamine. Now, you know my history, right?
Right, yeah.
So I've been doing so well. I did not want to throw my life away, but I ended up hitting the pipe at his house, man. Yeah. And once I got weird vibes from him, I said, you know what? I need to go somewhere. I think I need to go to my grandmother's house. I really appreciate the offer for your help, but I'm going to go to my grandmother's if that's okay. Yeah. And things just got really sketchy, bro. I was receiving a lot of threats to my phone. He said a bunch of weird things. So by the time we got to my grandmother's house, he wouldn't pull all the way into the driveway, which was weird to me for some reason.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed my shit. I went around to the side of the house. I tapped on the window. I said, Nanny, I'm here. I love you. I need help. Tapped on the window. It's my grandmother's house. It's my mailing address. It's the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
I did not try to go into the main house at all. I let her know I was there.
So for the moment, Wyatt, Mariah, and Check the Star are basically running around like chickens with their heads cut off, not really knowing what to do with the situation or what it is in general. But I think we can all come to the understanding that everybody is just tired of dealing with Nick. And I can confidently say that there's only two outcomes that can come from the situation. Nick might really grasp and understand the reality that he's dirty too and has nothing in life. So he legitimately might start to improve his life and make it better. Or he just spirals even more out of control, with this being the first of many instances where Nick plunges his life into even more drug-fueled chaos, trying to chase what everybody seems to be chasing nowadays: clout. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alrighty then. I just want to say a couple things before we actually click off. Thank you to everybody that actually stick around to the end of my videos. Not only does that give me the more confidence to start making more of these type of videos, breaking down the situation in super detail, but it significantly helps my video to be pushed to a wider audience. So I want to start planning something to give back to the people that are actually watching my videos in their entirety. So if you did make it to the end of the video, do me a favor, go down, like the video, and go down to the comment section and comment something in the sense of, I watched the entire video or I made it to the end, because everybody that comments, I'm gonna be keeping track of that specific profile, and every time you comment on a video, your name will be tallied and entered in a giveaway when I reach 1,000 subscribers. The trick to this giveaway is that I'm not always gonna ask you guys to comment that you watched the entire video on every single video, so people just don't go in the comment section and immediately leave. You can only be entered in the raffle one time per video. So if you hear me say, please comment that you watched the video in its entirety on a random video, I really want to encourage you guys to go and leave a comment, so eventually I can actually understand who really appreciates my content, so I can give back and say thank you for everything you guys have done for me. I know that does sound cheesy for me being a very little channel, but at least to me, talking to people, getting to know people in my comment section, having actual conversations with you guys means so much more to me than I can honestly explain in a video. It also really wants you guys to go down to the comment section and tell me how you feel about the whole RKH media situation. Because the only reason that this video actually took so long to come out to compare to my other videos is that I was super discouraged when I found out about that. I know my hard work that I put into these videos, and I know that some of you actually really appreciate that type of effort. So even if I do feel discouraged, I'm not gonna give you guys a subpar video. But that type of situation really puts me in limbo with myself, trying to understand, what do I want? I want to be here. I want to talk to you guys. I want to honestly call you guys my friend. A community on YouTube is where somebody brings people together to admire and appreciate one person, but that's not what I want. I want to talk to you guys. I want to know how your guys' day has been. I want to know how you guys are going through your problems. So if you guys really want to talk to me and have a genuine conversation, I made a Discord. I'll link it in the description below, and it's linked in my channel bio. You absolutely don't have to join. But in reality, I would love to talk to you guys, even if it's just about all the stupid drama that we talk about on the TikTok. But that absolutely doesn't mean I wouldn't love to have a normal conversation with you guys. So if you're really curious about it, just join. Check it out, and if you don't like it, tell me I'm stupid and leave. Either way, I super appreciate everything you guys have done for me, and I'm gonna try to give you guys the absolute best that I can, regardless of anybody that's tearing down smaller creators. And one more thing. RKH Media, if somehow, some way, for some reason you make it to the end of the video, I just want to say how disgusting and how much you are actually hurting other creators. And I know you understand everything about YouTube has been only getting more difficult with the terms of service and algorithm changes. So for you to genuinely not care about other creators, even smaller content creators, when at some point yourself, you were a struggling one yourself, I just want to say that you lost your way. You lost what it genuinely means to be an authentic creator, and no matter what you do, you will never be able to get that back. And I promise you, I will expose you one day, not just for me, but for all the other smaller creators that you stole from and wasn't able to recognize their own work.